Hello, everyone, and welcome to our conversation today with Sheryl Lee Ralph, iconic actress, trailblazer, and author. I'm Karen Toulon, and on behalf of Publisher Wordy, welcome to you all, and welcome to you, Sheryl.
Well, thank you very much. Good to be here with you, Karen, and everybody else that's joined us today.
Well, we're so excited, Sheryl. We have so much ground to cover in 30 minutes. We want to talk about your career. We want to talk about your new book, Diva 2.0, 12 Life Lessons from Me to You. Indeed. Hey, I've got mine. You've got yours, right? Right. We also want to take some questions from the audience. So I think we should just dive right in, if that's okay.
Great. Let's do it.
Okay. So I've been following your career, and one of my takeaways from following your career is that life is a journey. It's just, it is a journey, and success is a journey. It doesn't just happen and then you're one and done. And when we look at your book, your life lessons, you encourage us to embrace the chaos, the uncertainty that's part of life, right? I think that's important, to hold on to our dreams and to not give up. So when I look at your career from Dream Girls, when you were barely in your 20s, which I found amazing, right? Tony nominated. Fast forward to today, Emmy for your iconic role in Abbott Elementary, Barbara Howard, right? And truly iconic acceptance speech. Your SAG Award for Best Ensemble Cast Comedy, being named one of USA Today's Women of the Year.
Wow.
Two-part question, right? Wow, right? How has all of this, how's the Emmy affected your life? But more importantly, perhaps, how is your perception of success and winning? Has that evolved over the years as your career has evolved?
You know something, first of all, I just have to say that I'm experiencing something that I wish everybody could experience. And that is, people are literally sharing their best of themselves with me. I was walking through the airport the other day, getting off of my plane, and other people, they got off of their plane, and I think it was a stop in Spain and Liberia or something like that. But these people got off of their plane, saw me, and the way they were trying in their language to share with me what they felt about me, about my win, about how they felt when I spoke, about Abbott Elementary. I was floored. I couldn't believe this. When I just walked down the street, because I've been living a very human, normal, regular life throughout my whole career. And to have people say, I see you, I love you, thank you for what you did for me. It's crazy, but it's been a year, a season of just being able to accept the good from a lot of other people. And it just feels so good, so amazing, just wonderful. And I'm very happy with it, very happy.
And so, you talk about being stopped in Spain. On a very different stage, you performed the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing at the Super Bowl, and global reach, around 115 million people around the world, not to mention the 68,000 people in the stands. So many of us in our own way, right? So many of us in our own way, perhaps not singing at the Super Bowl, have been called upon to step up and embrace a big moment in our lives. And so my question to you is, one of your life lessons is taking risks. How do you prepare yourself for those big moments where you're going to be seen and you can really have impact? How do you prepare yourself, and not just in your craft as a performer, but in your head as a person?
You know what? I used to always say this, and it's my saying, not Will Smith's. I once told Monique, stay ready so that you don't have to get ready, because opportunity will knock, and you've got to be able to embrace it, not think about it, but embrace it and make the moment yours. Was I ready for the Emmy Award moment? No, I wasn't even expecting it. I thought somebody else was going to win. Was I thinking that the Super Bowl was going to call me and ask me to speak and ask me to sing, lift every voice and sing that incredible 123-year-old song that just speaks so much about life and liberty, and do it in a way that people could hear it in a brand new way? Some people thought it was a new song. No, I wasn't, but I knew that song and I was ready to perform that song. And then working with my daughter on the style and the presentation, what did I want the world to see when I sang that song? It all just came together and we were ready. We were prepared to meet the moment. I expect great things to happen. I also expect bad things to happen. And that's why, I like to keep oil in my lamp. I like to keep lipstick and lash it in my beauty bag because I want to be ready for the moment. I even have water stored so that we can be ready in case we need water. Yeah, be prepared.
Well, how do you stay focused? You touched on it. There are times when you might feel a bit defeated. You talk about this in your book. Their no's start coming in. The no's are rolling in one after another. How do you stay ready? Ready is a mindset. How do you stay ready?
You just did it. You said it right there. Ready is a mindset. The first step to being great is being grateful, having a grateful mindset, knowing why shouldn't good things happen to you? Why aren't you deserving of the best that there is in the world? So often, so many people want to say, well, no, I don't deserve that. It shouldn't be me. It should be somebody else. Why can't it be you? Why can't you step up and just embrace the good that is out there in the world? Why do you always have to put yourself in last place? People laugh sometimes when I say this, but I love me. I love me. I love me enough to look in the mirror and encourage what I see, respect what I see, lift up what I see. I'm able to stay in a great space and mindset because why shouldn't I have a great mindset? Why shouldn't I arm myself to be able to thank God and Goddess for the good and the bad? Because both of those things will happen in life, must happen in life. But I've got to be ready to know if it's bad, I'm going to overcome it. And if it's great, I'm going to hold on to the feeling for as long as I can, because that feeling will take me through the next valley I have to go through. It's on a bottle of, what is it, scotch or some liquor. And Johnny Walker says, when you're going through a bad time, just keep on walking. Oh, yeah.
So, that you've been around talking so much and spreading your message. I want to ask you about your recent trip to Ghana, which is one of my favorite places as well. Vice President Kamala Harris was there. You joined with her on that trip and you spoke to some students there. And I'm sure you told them all of your messages, shared with them all of your experiences. But what did you take away from speaking with the students there? What are you hearing from young people? And what are you perhaps learning from them, adding to your toolkit, adding to your water and your eyelashes and your oil in your lamp? What are you hearing from them?
What I want to tell people this all the time. Any amount of time that you spend with young people, whether it is listening or speaking or just being in their company, that is not wasted time. Very often people grow old because they get set in their ways. They feel that their way is the way. There is no different way. Young people don't know what they're talking about. I have learned through watching my own children and other people's children, there is much to be learned from young people. There's a saying, wiser and weaker. Well, I'm not so sure about that nowadays because young people are growing stronger. And we have a generation right about now. They are serious about breaking these generational curses. They don't want these isms to keep coming back. They want something better in life, and they're willing to fight for it by fighting for themselves. And that's a good thing. So I learned so much. You know, my son was so upset at the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, compounded by the murder, death of George Floyd. And, you know, they were protesting and they were speaking their minds, and the things they came up against in doing that. And one day my son turned to me and he said, "Mommy, if we do not heal from these hurts, we will be good to nobody, especially to ourselves." And in that moment, he created this whole movement called Walk Good LA, the movement that you can heal yourself. You can speak your truth to power. You can breathe properly. You can experience and learn yoga, how to take time and meditate with yourself so that you can do self-care, so that you are better able to prepare and reawaken the spirit within yourself to move forward. And I was like, wow, genius. And it's so simple, it's complicated. But the brilliance of just saying, let me heal myself so that I can move forward in the fight, in the struggle, in this good fight. I was like, wow, amazing.
You know, that's one of your 12 lessons, right? Letting go of hurt. And so here's my book. I already held it up. Clearly, I'm a little obsessed. I have a few notes in it. Let's dive into your book, Diva 2.0, 12 life lessons from me to you, published by Wordy, happens to be my publisher as well. We've touched on, mine is better than yours because it's read with love. It's read with love. You know, we've touched on some of the issues, you know, finding your joy, taking risks, being grateful, right?
Yeah.
Letting go of hurts. But I want to lead off with, when we talk about your book, you challenge us to think about Diva in a new way, and not just the very talented, if somewhat disturbed person. What is a diva? What do you consider a diva to be?
You know, for me, Diva it's an acronym. It is divinely inspired, victoriously alive, awesome, audacious. If it was Sunday, we would be anointed. But this is a person, woman or man or woman, because we are an equal opportunity word and acronym. Whoever that is, you are not here to exhibit the worst of your behavior. You are here to be the best. You are here, Diva, to set an example. You are here to let other people know that trials and tribulations, they are all a part of life, but so is the learned ability to overcome, stay positive, and keep moving forward.
So to that point, you're not walking alone, right? You're inspired, you're divine, but you also have something else in your pocket. I read this and I found it hilarious in a good way. A few months ago, a Pennsylvania student decided to dress up like you for Black History Month. She was so inspired by you, which is your very first Diva lesson. Find a role model and seek their mentorship.
That's right.
Why are role models so important? What do you look for in a role model? Who were your role models and who are your role models right now?
I would honestly have to say that my mom was my most incredible role model. She stood up to the forces that came against her. She stood up for herself in a time where it was very, very difficult. And just being someone who was able to use her voice to make the path different for me, I'll never forget that. My grandmother on my paternal side, my father's mother, another strong woman, you know, part of the great migration that came up from the South, went to the North, looking for a much better life, and marrying my grandfather, putting 4 children through college, you know, making the decision to buy a home, that everybody must have an education and a piece of the land that is America. Those things spoke volumes to me. the extended family that I had in Jamaica with my mother, an immigrant from Jamaica, and, you know, the immigrant's dream that good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better best, you know, that there was always more for you to be able to bite off. There were more ways for you to challenge yourself to rise to your own greatness. Yeah, so many, you know, there's something about role models. It's like, if you can see yourself in those that you see as doing great things, you're seeing yourself doing great things. I saw it. I saw myself in Mr. Poitier. I saw myself in Mr. Belafonte. I saw myself in Rosalind Cash. I saw myself in Ruby Dee. I saw myself in Beverly Manley. I saw myself in all of them, and they were great.
And so that leads me to what I wanted to talk about next. On our webcast today are many people who are owners of Black-oriented bookstores, right?
Yes.
To keep the narrative front and center. But also joining us today are people from a wide variety of professions, right? And different stages of life, all walks of life. So my question is, why is it important? You've touched on this. Why is it important to own your narrative, to control your narrative, whether you're in books or in business, whatever your life is about? Why is it important? And I'll even say this, why is it important to even know your narrative?
I think it's in that song that I continue to sing to this day. I am an endangered species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know where my voice belongs. Now that song goes on to say, she says, I shake my fist, not my hips, because I know where my voice belongs. My God, when you know your song, when you know your story, when you know who you are, nobody can take that away from you. You cannot be changed to take up some other narrative that is not your own, because you know your narrative, you know your voice. You know, people talk about things like, why is culture important? Because you know who you are, you know from whence you came, you know yourself by knowing your people. For me, holding on to my voice, knowing the journey that I have taken in what my eyes have seen, not reporting about what I heard, but reporting about the things that I have seen, the things that I have experienced. I know the story. I know what to say. I know what to leave in the stories that I will tell those that will come beyond me, because I hold it, I carry the narrative in my heart. It is who I am.
And so,
Like, oh my God, I feel good just talking about it.
it is inspiring, because it really is. It speaks to the collective. It speaks to why surrounding yourself with people who understand you and appreciate you and will spur you on is important.
Yes. So I was speaking recently at a university, North Carolina A&T, and I said to the students, don't just survive, thrive. Don't be in spaces where you're tolerated. Find those spaces where you are celebrated. And they were flabbergasted. They were like, Miss Ralph, we never thought about that. I said, why? You thought you just had to live life being tolerated? You thought you had to live life just tolerating things that were put in front of you? No. Thrive, be celebrated, live your life, do the best you can for yourself. Respect yourself enough to challenge yourself to just go on and be great and accept it. But so many of us, we just want to hold on to the fact that, why should I do that for myself? Why shouldn't you do that for yourself? You deserve it. You deserve it. Sometimes I see people carrying these burdens and they willingly carry the burdens. And it's like, I want to say, put the bag down. Release yourself from the burden. Free yourself. Experience the lightness of being and start by believing in yourself. Oh, it's so simple, it's complicated.
Exactly. Um, I found this interesting that one of your 12 points, one of your lessons is sisterhood.
Yes.
Why sisterhood?
Ah,
What's so magical?
you know something? I wrote it in the book. When women come together to support each other in a healthy, positive way, it's magic. It's the kind of magic that can literally change the world. When we put aside petty behavior, when we release ourselves from some of the things that we have learned from male leadership, when we embrace the wonderful things about our feminism, I've seen incredible things happen when women embrace each other, when women choose to uplift each other. Because when women do that for each other, I mean, hey, you have no idea what we're able to do for everybody else. I've seen it happen, you know, in my sorority, when my sorors come together for good, for the community. You know, it was like we all came together saying, okay, we want to raise money for science, education. So I say to my sorors, great, I'm going to give $1 for every book that I sell in the sorority so that we can raise this scholarship money. And if we're successful, we'll raise $250,000 just because we all come together to celebrate and unite. The sisterhood and leaning on the shield.
You, I want to get to some questions, and I'm going to use my technology. Um, how do you keep going? How do you stay centered? You seem both wonderful and inspiring, but also, frankly, very down to earth. How do you pull that off? How do you stay you amidst everything, all of the chaos, all the accolades, all of the stuff of life? You have 2 kids. How do you stay you?
Oh my gosh. First of all, thank you for that. But I love my life. I love my community, which is now becoming larger. It's the world. I love the people in the community. I love being alive. I, I'm I'm living my life. I try to do the best that I can within my sphere of outreach. You know, I set up my life to do as much good as I can in this life, but that's my conscious way of living. That's how I approach it. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to tell anybody else what to do with their life and how to be. I want all of us to try to rise to the best in ourselves because honest to God, if we could take care of our own backyards, maybe that might just do much better things for everybody else. I don't want to stick my nose in other people's backyards and tell them how they should treat their lawn, you know, cut their grass. I don't want to do that because that just raises in my mind what I think is a more conflicted life. I want to do the best I can with what I can and the people with who I can. And in the messages that I speak about, if it's not for somebody, then it's not for somebody. And that's okay because I agree to disagree with you, knowing that I'm not going to hate you because I disagree with you. I'm just saying you think differently than I do. Well, that's good for you. You know, I'm just living my life the best I can. And that's it. That's it.
So another question, and I'll preface this by saying you've had quite a journey from being one of the first women to, I believe, the first woman to graduate from Rutgers when you were 19, heading off to LA, all the roles. A question that's come to me is, of all the roles you've had, which one is your favorite?
Mother to my children. That is my absolute favorite role. I have excelled in that role. I've been able to see that even with my mistakes, that I've learned from them, my children have learned from them. They are all the better for it. And next to that, I would have to say my next favorite role would be Dina Jones in Dreamgirls, because I literally created the whole seed of being of that character, because Dreamgirls came from nothing, and then we all came together with it, and we made the wonderful show that we now see called Dreamgirls. And I love Dina, and now I'd have to say I love Barbara Howard. I love Barbara Howard. Abbott Elementary means a lot to me.
What do you, yeah, I know you were much like me, you were pre-med, and then you thought about law. Having played Miss Howard, have you thought about what it might be like to be a teacher? Or do you feel like you are teaching all along?
Oh, I'm definitely a teacher. I'm definitely teaching now in this role, and I hear that from people. But I was actually a teacher, a substitute teacher for 2 days. 2 days. I think it was New Brunswick High School, and I really decided right then and there, no, it was not for me. No, I would not be doing this. But I love and I appreciate teachers. I come from a family of educators. My father, my aunt, my brother in Albany, my sister-in-law, a retired principal, my niece studying education at NYU now. Oh, teachers all over the place. And as everybody tells me, I'm a teacher in my own right. And I hope that people will take this opportunity to get their copy of Diva 2.0 and read it. Do you know Oprah read my book?
Well, you know who else read your book? Karen Toulon. Hey, so we have 2 minutes left, so rapid fire questions. Another question is, do you have a favorite of your 12 lessons?
Look in the mirror and love what you see. Respect it, empower it, lift it up. And if you can't do it for yourself, then do it for somebody else. Because whether you believe it or not, you matter to someone. And it might simply be the person who hands you your coffee every morning. There might be something you have done or do or have said that makes a difference to somebody. So look in the mirror and love what you see, because you are far more powerful than you know and believe.
You know, before we wrap up, we only have a couple minutes left. I have a question to you. You talk so much about not giving up when the no's are rolling in, right? About being persistent, about finding your joy. And if you follow that joy, you stand a better chance of actually having a joyful, positive life. Yes. About following your dreams and hanging on to your dreams. So my question to you is, what dream are you dreaming now? What dream are you dreaming now?
You know, when I was a child, I'm a child of the 60s, and when I was a child, my parents would tell me that these isms would be gone, especially racism. And some of the things that I see happening in the world right now, when people are trying to pit all of us against each other, I want us to be reminded that the world is getting smaller and smaller. And there used to be a sign in windows and it said something horrific, like no N-words, no Mexicans, no dogs, and beneath that, no Indians. So I want us to know that if we don't come for those others, if we don't come for the Black folks, if we don't come for the yellow people, if we don't come for the red people, if we don't come for the brown people, if we don't come for each other, there will be nobody to come for all of us. We each need each other. So I am dreaming a bigger dream for this world. And for that is for us to realize we must come to the aid of each other. It's important.
And that is a powerful way to end our conversation today. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, your stories, and your life lessons with us. And most importantly, for inserting a little diva in our day. We needed this dose of diva. I'll speak personally, I needed this dose of diva. So thank you so much for uplifting and showing us a better way forward. On behalf of everyone watching and Wordy, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much. Be well.
Bye-bye.